I was so excited for the family function. It had been a long time since we all came together, and I really wanted to feel like I belonged. I wore my best dress, did my hair carefully, and even bought a small gift for my little cousin. I kept thinking maybe this time would be different. Maybe this time my stepmother would treat me kindly in front of others. But I was wrong. As soon as I walked into the hall, I saw her look at me from head to toe. She forced a smile and said loudly, "Oh, you're here. I guess we have space for the extra one." Everyone around us heard her. Some laughed awkwardly. Others just looked down. I felt like the ground under my feet was shaking. My face turned red, and I gave a weak smile, trying to act like it didn't hurt. Throughout the function, she kept making small jokes about me. "Don't take too much food. Remember, you're not really family," she said at the buffet table. Her words were knives, and no one stood up for me. My father stayed quiet, too, which made it worse. I sat alone at one of the side tables, pretending to be on my phone just to hide my eyes. Even the children avoided me after seeing how she treated me. I started thinking maybe she was right. Maybe I really didn't belong here. Maybe I was just a burden. Someone added to the family out of obligation. The laughter, music, and smiles around me felt fake. I didn't want to cry, but I couldn't stop my eyes from watering. I quietly left the main room and went to the garden. I needed air. I needed space. I sat on the bench outside, hugging myself and trying to breathe slowly. I thought, why am I still hoping she'll change? But little did I know, someone had been watching everything from the start. Someone I never expected was about to turn things around, and my stepmother's fake smile would soon disappear. She had no idea that in just an hour, everything would change. The family function was already in full swing when my grandfather arrived. He was always the quiet one, the type who didn't say much, but when he did, everyone listened. He was respected by everyone, even my stepmother, who usually acted like she ran the family. When he walked in, people rushed to greet him, but instead of joining the crowd, he looked around until his eyes found me. I was sitting alone in the corner, still feeling the sting of my stepmother's words. "You're the extra one." Her voice kept repeating in my head, making me feel like I didn't belong, even though I was family too. Grandfather walked straight to me. "Why are you sitting here all alone, my child?" he asked softly. I gave him a weak smile and said, "Just tired, that's all." He knew I was lying, but didn't push me. Instead, he stayed with me for a while, talking about simple things, my studies, my favorite books, my dreams. Then it was time for him to give his speech. Every time he spoke at family gatherings, people listened carefully. This time was no different. He took the mic, looked around, and began. "I'm happy to see all of you here today," he said. "This family has grown so much. But today, I want to talk about someone who often goes unnoticed." Everyone looked around, confused. Someone kind, strong, and brave. My granddaughter. He turned to me and smiled. "Yes, her. The one sitting quietly there. She's the one I trust the most in this family. And today, I want to let you all know she will be the one to take over my foundation when I'm gone." The room went completely silent. My stepmother's face turned pale. She looked like she had just swallowed something bitter. People started whispering and glancing my way. "I have watched her grow, fight, and survive," he continued. "She's not extra. She's essential." Tears filled my eyes. My heart beat fast. For the first time, I felt seen. My stepmother lowered her eyes and stayed quiet. The power she had over me gone in an instant. In just a few words, my grandfather had turned everything around. The night before the family function, I was going through some old boxes in my room. I found one that belonged to my mother, who passed away years ago. Inside was a small envelope with my name on it, written in her handwriting. I opened it carefully. It was a letter my mother had written for me before she died. I had never seen it before. As I read it, tears filled my eyes. She wrote about how much she loved me, how proud she was of me, and how she knew I'd grow up to be strong, kind, and full of light. She also warned me that not everyone would treat me fairly, but I should never forget who I truly am. Her words touched my heart deeply. I decided to keep it in my purse and bring it with me to the family function as a reminder of her love. At the event, my stepmother was her usual self, loud, fake, and full of insults. She saw me sitting alone and walked over with her friends. She grabbed my purse to check what I'm hiding and pulled out the letter. I tried to stop her, but it was too late. She opened the letter and started reading parts of it out loud in a mocking tone. "Ah, how cute! You're full of light. What nonsense!" Everyone around laughed. I wanted to disappear, but something in me clicked. I stood up, took the letter back, and faced the crowd. "I'm going to read it properly," I said loudly, "because this isn't just a piece of paper. This is from my mother, who loved me more than anything." I read the full letter. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. As I spoke, the room fell silent. My cousins, aunts, even uncles, they all listened. The words were powerful. They weren't just about me. They reminded everyone of love, loss, and truth. When I finished, there were tears in many people's eyes. A few even clapped. My stepmother stood frozen, her face red and her fake smile gone. That letter, hidden for years, gave me my voice back, and in that moment I wasn't the extra one. I was the one everyone saw. The family function was held in a big, decorated hall, and everyone from cousins to distant relatives was invited. My stepmother had taken charge of the arrangements. She walked around like a queen, making sure everything looked perfect. But her attitude toward me stayed the same, cold, rude, and filled with fake smiles. She made sure to remind me I didn't belong, whispering hurtful things whenever no one was watching. I tried to stay calm, but it wasn't easy. Suddenly, during the middle of the event, a surprise guest arrived. It was Mr. Raymond, my late mother's oldest friend and former boss. He was well known in the community, successful, wise, and respected. Everyone seemed surprised and confused to see him. Even my stepmother looked nervous, unsure of why he was there. Mr. Raymond was invited to sit at the front, and after a few minutes he asked if he could say a few words. The host handed him the microphone, and he stood before the crowd. "I was close friends with someone very dear," he began. "Her name was Nyra. Some of you may remember her. She was one of the strongest women I ever knew. And today I'm here because her daughter, yes, the one sitting right there, deserves to be reminded of that strength." Everyone turned to look at me. My heart started beating fast. Mr. Raymond continued, "I've known her since she was a child. I watched her mother raise her with love, honesty, and hope, even through pain. And I promised Anaya, before she passed, that I'd always be there if her daughter ever needed help." The room was silent. Then he looked at my stepmother and said, "I've heard how you've treated her. I've watched it with my own eyes today. And let me be clear, this young lady is not extra. She is the heart of this family. Her mother left her with dignity. I hope you remember that before judging her again." Everyone sat stunned. My stepmother's face turned pale. She had no words. Mr. Raymond walked over to me, placed his hand on my shoulder, and smiled warmly. It felt like justice had finally spoken, and it came from someone she never expected. The family function was organized as a celebration for my cousin's graduation. Everyone was dressed nicely, taking selfies, enjoying food, and showing off. My stepmother, as always, made sure she looked like the center of attention. She barely spoke to me except to say, "Try not to embarrass us. You're just the extra one here." Those words cut deep, but I stayed quiet. I was used to her behavior by now. I tried to enjoy the event and talk with a few kind relatives, but the words kept echoing in my head. I felt out of place, even though I was family. Later that evening, the host, my uncle, announced that they would be giving out a special family recognition award for the first time. Everyone was curious. No one had heard about this before. He stood on the stage and said, "This award is not for the richest, the loudest, or the most popular person here. It's for someone who shows strength, kindness, and courage, even when no one is watching. People started guessing. Maybe it was my cousin or one of the aunts. Even my stepmother adjusted her sorry, thinking maybe it was her. Then he said my name. For a moment, I thought I had heard wrong. But everyone turned to me, clapping. I was frozen. My uncle smiled and said, "She's been through more than most of us know. She has supported her family, kept her head high, and stayed respectful even when she wasn't treated right." I slowly walked to the stage. My hands were shaking. I took the award, a beautiful glass plaque with my name on it. I looked out at the crowd and saw real smiles, not fake ones. I glanced at my stepmother. Her jaw was tight. Her eyes didn't meet mine. She looked uncomfortable, like she couldn't believe what just happened. The applause continued. I stood there with tears in my eyes, not because I was sad, but because for the first time in a long time I felt seen, respected, and valued. The girl who was called extra was now the one being celebrated in front of everyone. That one moment changed everything.